So I've come across some very interesting videos on YouTube recently. There was one video that said it had no views. Like, I viewed it, and it's not my video, it's somebody else's video. And I understand maybe the people have a problem with their speech. I mean, there's an African American, or I would say a biracial young lady reading from the scripture, and she keeps making little mistakes. But she gets through it. And there's a man who starts preaching, and he's very slow of speech, and sort of midway through his sermon, a car horn starts beeping, and he's like, and then it almost seems like it was miraculous after that he stopped making mistakes with the way he was speaking, because you could tell maybe he's got some sort of autism, mental, cerebral palsy, something like that prevents him from speaking properly, but he sounds very intelligent. So if you just want to dismiss people because, well, they seem like they're stupid or whatever, look at the content of the message. People aren't here just for your entertainment, they're here for your instruction, actually. Yeah. Oh, I didn't know that. I thought that people were never supposed to make me bored or angry. No, people are here for your edification, if they're Christians. So that is my goal, definitely. A topic that I want to talk about is so painful, you haven't written an outline for it. I spent many years writing papers in universities, and I knew that I had to conform to the APA format and everything. And I had to sound like an academic, like what good are these Towers of Babel doing for us? I mean, these are huge institutions, folks. You can tell I'm not from New York because I said the letter H. Huge institutions. What are these people being paid for? Really? Now, it's even being proposed in Ohio by a couple of people that, well, we need to have a program similar to MAID in Canada. What is that? Medical assistance in dying? Listen. The Hippocratic Oath. Many people are not familiar with this. Many people just don't learn things the way they used to learn things. I was born in, the early 1970s, and my parents were a little bit older. They weren't in their 40s, but they were in their 30s when I was born. So the first rule of the Hippocratic Oath is do no harm. What? But now they're killing people in Canada. I mean, it started in the Netherlands. Now they're killing people in Canada. It's the 5th leading cause of death in Canada, euthanasia. And you could be killed for any reason. Well, I'm depressed. Okay, we'll kill ya. What kind of nonsense is that, folks? Somebody has to speak out about this. Somebody has to do it. Some brave person. But, there is another sort of death, which is a slow, torturous death, but I won't allow it to be a death for me. How did I know I would be the scapegoated family member? The black sheep of the family. See, you never hear these terms anymore. I don't know how. People's minds are just kind of erased. Like you used to be able to erase a cassette tape. You remember, like it's all magnetic. So if you wanted to reformat the tape, so we could talk about it in terms of a CD, a disc that you would insert in your computer. You just magnetically erase everything. And then all of a sudden, oh, I've got a brand new tape. Now I can record more Falco, right? Or whatever you wanted to record. there are many good messages on YouTube. Some of these people have passed away. Charles Stanley, I didn't realize he had passed away. Les Feldick, I learned that he passed away probably several months ago. Oh, he actually passed away at the age of 93. But they left a legacy. Charles Stanley. I'm not saying I approve 100% of everything they say in every message. That's the thing. Nobody is God but God. Some people were gifted, talented teachers of the Word of God. Some people were angry about the church. In fact, I have a female relative that refused to go to any baptism which occurred. And their sister just happens to be a minister. So isn't that interesting? But I invited this lady to, well, your grandchild is being baptized. You want to come? It's like, oh, suddenly I have a terrible headache. Maybe it was a demonic attack. I don't know. But what I do know is that resentment is a big problem in people's lives today. The resentment, and that I would call it the matriarch syndrome. There's this lady, Dr. R. I'm sorry, I'm a Christian, so I'm not really sure, but like, you have wonderful insights. You have wonderful insights. But isn't it interesting? It doesn't matter who these people are. When they examine narcissism, they say, well, the solution is just to leave that person. But Dr. Ramani was saying earlier, I just caught like the first few seconds of it. She said, you don't even know. Narcissism doesn't just typically infect one person. It infects the whole family. If it could, it would. And we have to talk about it. I'm sorry I don't have interesting visuals for you. I used to actually read for the blind, and they can't see anything either. So why do you need to see me? You should be listening. You could, if you're a sighted person, then maybe you could just paint a picture or doodle or something. I had to listen to many lectures when I was a kid in school. Not everything was entertaining. But if it's meaningful, if it's useful, then you need to avail yourself of the teaching. You really must do it. It is your obligation as a person who isn't an animal. You're not part of the animal kingdom. You can dress up like any animal you want, but at the end of the day, and there's an idiom for you, you're still a human being. When you get sick, do they take you to the vet? Maybe they do. Maybe in California they take furries to veterinary clinics when they're sick, but at least in Ohio, they would still take you to a human hospital if you had a problem. Say if you had an aneurysm or a heart attack or stroke or something like that, they would take you to a human hospital, or acute appendicitis. The ambulance people pretty much know if you're a human or a dog. I think they do. Now let's think about this. These recent problems with airplanes crashing into... What? An airplane crashed into somebody's car? Like a guy was driving a truck and an airplane crashed into him. It's like, is the pilot not on pot? How many times are we out there? I can't really detect it. It's like the arsenic. You can really smell, what is that? arsenic or something else? Like if you smell bitter almonds? No, that's cyanide, dummy. Okay, I just corrected myself. Thank you. See, that's why I then script it, and I tell you, I do correct myself in real time. It smells like cigarette smoke to me. I don't know people are smoking pot. I don't know. My mother said, I tried pot once in college. But Mom, then you smoked throughout the entire pregnancy, and you drank throughout my entire, the entire pregnancy with me. And I think I have fetal alcohol syndrome. I tried to tell that to a counselor. I think I have fetal alcohol syndrome. Oh, no, I've seen people with fetal alcohol syndrome. You don't look like... You know what? You're a pinhead, too. I'm sorry, I shouldn't have said that. But my dad would constantly dwell upon this idea of... He would always mispronounce the medical term. Phenylpyruvic anemia or something like that. He said, you're a pinhead. I was born with a small head and a small birth weight, as was my brother. So there you go. My brother was 5 pounds, 9.5 ounces. And, I tried to be blonde. My mother was a successful blonde. Somehow, it didn't work out for me to be a blonde person. To dye my hair black, well, what are you, like a Satanist? No, I love red hair because red hair it's a natural color. It doesn't mean I'm gay. All right? I have to stick up for myself if nobody's there to stick up for me. But I'm sorry to say this. A lady up the street, they had an evil dog that used to pursue me and hunt me down like it was the son of Sam. Actually, you know the story of David Berkowitz. Apparently he was adopted by a Jewish couple, but he looks Jewish, so I don't know. He's a born again Christian if he's still alive. We know that he's a born again Christian. He said that a dog told him to start killing people. Well, somebody told that dog to kill me. It's like this dog is like this relentless, horrible blonde dog it had long hair, and it had this evil demonic look. Not to say anything bad about dogs, because all of my dogs were nice to me. All of my personal dogs, the dogs that lived in my house, were nice. But I was bitten twice by dogs. First, I was bitten by Spiky, the elderly Labrador retriever that lived with my grandmother, and she said, oh, don't tell your parents, because I only saw her like a couple times a year. And so she sprayed my arm with solar cane and covered it up with a bandage, and then halfway through the 2-hour road trip home, I told my dad, Dad, Grandma's dog bit me. And then, yeah. Then I'm over at the neighbor's house, and they have what was it? It wasn't a poodle, it was a Doberman Pinscher. The Doberman, I tried to pet the Doberman Pinscher, and her name was Gretchen, and it bit me. I was like, oh my, how did you? We didn't file lawsuits back in the day. You just roll with it, baby. You just got to roll with it, baby. You got to roll with them punches. The pampered pets, and I'm talking about people these days. Really. What I went through, the abuse that I endured, that dog Denver that chased me satanically. One time, there was some sort of a party next door, and the dog Denver just appeared. It was just always waiting and stalking me. There were no leash laws. There were no invisible fences back then. This was the 1980s, the 1970s, bro. You don't understand what it was like growing up in my generation. You have no idea. That dog was like Charles Manson. If you could, Charles Manson in his mugshot, the dog only lacked a swastika on its forehead. Otherwise, it looked exactly like Charles Manson, and it was a blonde dog. I mean, that dog terrorized me. It didn't bite me, but it chased me. It barked at me. It's just, as soon as it laid eyes on me, it started to chase me. And one time I fell down on my own property, down a little hill. And it was the first time in my life, the only time in my life that the wind was knocked out of me. How does the wind get knocked out of you? Well, my dad was a wrestler. It's because your nerve center, your solar plexus, somehow it was poked with a stick, and I couldn't breathe. And the dog could have ripped my throat out, but it just decided it was just having a little bit of fun. It didn't really want to kill me. Yeah. But, I do love dogs. Dogs, when I was a kid, dogs were my best friends, actually, sometimes. So it's not a put down on dogs. But the lady up the road, the lady who owned the dog, I'm getting really confused. You know why you're confused? Because you were told to forget what happened to you. I was abused. I was abused by Gloria, this tall teenage girl, and her little sibling. His name was actually Chucky. Chucky and Gloria. From that house. When I was a little girl, sometimes I was babysat over there. They actually, the teenage girl and the little boy took me into the woods, and it was not anything that bad. But, it's like I told my parents, we'll just don't play with them anymore. Don't visit them anymore. Like, what? And I don't know if it's the same lady, but